All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bootcamp Blueprint, the place where personal trainers go to grow their bootcamp and social media. I'm super excited because this week we have one of the top people in the industry in Australia. And actually, I'm probably not giving this person credit. I think they're pretty close to the top person in the industry in Australia. They are the head of Fitness Australia. They've got a long experience or long history of experience in the fitness industry. This person used to run a gym that I used to work at, actually. So I've heard some really good things about how he ran the gym and what the members thought. And I've heard some interesting stories as well. A fun little fact, this person used to finish their session with chin-ups, believe it or not. They would do a full workout and finish with chin-ups. This person was also a big part of Michelle Bridges' 12-week challenge, Michelle Bridges' business. Without further ado, the one and only Bill Moore. Bill, how are you?
Oh, very good, John. That's a very flattering introduction. I don't think anyone has been quite as flattering as that before in my life. So it may be deserved, but I'm not entirely sure that all of it was. But thanks for having me on. I very much appreciate it. I always like the opportunity actually to get out and talk to people, talk to businesses, talk to trainers. There's a lot of talking to be done. Our industry is in an incredible place at the moment, and it's a great thrill for me to be part of that. And I'm sure you feel the same way too, mate. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it.
100%, and so happy to have you on here. Now, I know I gave you a bit of an introduction there, Bill, but I was hoping you could maybe do the same, maybe in just a minute or two, just let everyone know what your current role is now and what does that role involve.
Okay, so I'm the CEO, the chief exec down here at Fitness Australia with the peak national fitness body. We represent some 22 to 23,000 personal trainers, and we've got 3,500 fitness businesses that we represent. We effectively, I guess, we interact directly with the government. When the government want things to happen in our industry, they bring me up. I'm actually in with them on Monday morning at 9 o'clock. That's another story. Talking about what's going on in our industry and what's likely to turn up. We are the advocates for the industry. We are ones that, I guess, beat the drum for us. We're big believers in the industry, I think, and people really want to know what's the connection, who can I pick up the phone to, who can I talk to, so there's a lot of information flow that comes from our industry to consumers, to the general public and gyms and such like. But we also, we write the standards and the guidelines. We look after the national training package. We're actually just renegotiating a new national training package right now. I sit on the industry reference committee that our service skills organisation, Skills IQ, that we effectively support the changes to the training package, and that's another vital piece of what we do, because the training package is the scope of practice at the end of the day, and there's always a lot of talk about the scope of practice, but that's what that training package is. And right now, I don't think we've got a good training package. I think we can improve it. I think it narrows us down too much. And worst of all, I don't think it provides, Jono, a career pathway for fitness professionals. And I'm very passionate about this career pathway piece. We've got to keep people in our industry. And I don't think currently the way that we've got our educational structure put together serves us to do that. And that's a big piece of work. It takes a long time, but we've grabbed it by the neck and we're going to shake the bejesus out of it to make sure we get a good training package.
Love it, love it. I love the fact that you said that as well, because I've got to be honest, I had no idea what was going to come out of your mouth there. But
I didn't either.
But I love that, because I feel exactly the same. And that's why I've put together an education company myself. And I'm sure all our listeners will really resonate with what you've said there. So I'm so glad you said that. Now, what I'd like to move on to, I know we're going to speak a little bit about what's going on there a bit later, but what I'd like to start with, Bill, is a little bit more about you, because I've been following you for a while. I know what your background is, but a lot of the people watching this, they might think, who's this guy? Is he just a pen pusher who's never, done anything in the fitness industry and now he's the CEO telling me what to do? Could you give us just a bit of background on your story? What have you done?
Sure, thanks, mate. Well, I'm a lifetime exerciser. I first walked in a gym when I was 14. And I started training seriously when I was 17. Then I tried training very seriously when I was 23. So I've been, I guess, doing it all my life. I always wanted to make my hobby, my passion, my career. I think most people do, to be honest with you. And I had a great opportunity to do that. I used to train with the ex-heavyweight Mr. Australia, Ian Riley, going back many, many years ago. And we determined that we were going to, let's put a gym together. So we did do that. And that was down in Balmain back in 1994. And that was my introduction, I guess, into the professional side of the fitness industry as opposed to just enjoying training and gyms and goodness knows what else. So had a few gyms from there. I was a personal trainer, group fitness instructor. I did only with Les Mills, I should say. I went from there to doing a fitness business consultancy. Went from there to getting involved at an industry level when we put together Fitness New South Wales in 1998. Worked with people like Nigel Champion and Greg Hurst in those days. I guess making all this effectively happen, and then moved away from it in 2001 when I opened my last health club, which I sold in 2004. After that, I worked with Michelle Bridges. We were married. We had together for 13 years, and we worked together on the whole Michelle Bridges. People like to call it an empire, but I don't know if it's an empire. It's just a business, you know. But that was a lot of fun. But that marriage finished, unfortunately. But we're all happy. We've all moved on. And then I was actually when I left that business, I was actually just going to get a couple of directorships on boards. But then when I started looking at potential board of directors I could sit on, I got on the Fitness Australia website and they said they're looking for a new CEO. And I thought, oh God, that's going to be a hard job, man. There's going to be a lot of tears. But you know what? The more I looked at it, the more the passion for the industry. I thought I feel like I can really do some stuff here. I think there's things need to happen within Fitness Australia. The industry is in an incredibly complex and disrupted space now. It's never been like this, John. It's never been as big. It's never been as complex as what it is now. And I felt passionately that I wanted to contribute to it because I felt that I could, and I hope that I have. And I've got plans to keep doing this for many, many years, even though I'm probably getting close to that age. You know, that age we don't talk about. That 65 thing. So that's my background. I love it. I love talking to people like you. I love talking to trainers. I love hanging around gyms. And I really want to see if when I leave this industry, leave it in a better space than what it probably is now at some level, certainly from the association point of view.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, I'd like to touch on that as well, Bill, because I follow Fitness Australia on Instagram, and I see you travel Australia and travel the world, and you're in America this week and Western Australia that week. And what I'd like you to share with some of our listeners, if possible, I'm sure on all these travels and all these conferences, you see some trainers or some fitness businesses doing some really good things. What I was hoping you could share is some of the best things that you see going to these different gyms, speaking to these different trainers, and maybe some of our listeners can, start to implement some of those things to help their businesses succeed. Have you got a few tips for us there?
Well, I see a few really interesting things out there. I suppose, certainly when it comes to trainers, the diversification. There's a few key elements with this for me. The diversification in what trainers do now. I see guys in gyms doing some crazy stuff there. I was training this morning. There's a guy walking up and down the gym, and he had a kettlebell in one hand above his head, and he was just walking up and back and down the gym. Now, that I look at that and I think, dude, is that working? I don't know. But the diversification is the thing, like you would never expect to see a tractor tire in a gym 10 years ago. You'd never expect to see a 24/7 club 10 years ago. And now the 24/7s are the top 5 clubs in Australia. 4 of those are purpose-built, dedicated 24/7 health clubs.
Wow.
So that's where that's in terms of the number of gyms that are out there.
Yeah.
The other one is F45. So there's the top 5 clubs in Australia right now in terms of number of gyms. So health has never been more accessible. It's never been, in many respects, I suppose, cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's never, we've never had more opportunity in terms of the number of clubs that are out there that we have now. So where do personal trainers fit into that? I don't see, it's a few little, for me, couple of things. I don't see too many PTs in 24/7 clubs, and I don't know why.
Hmm.
So average 24/7 club, what's that, Jono? 500 square metres?
Yeah, I'd say about that.
About that. How many PTs can you get in there?
Ooh, you'd probably know better than me, to be honest.
I'd say there's room there for half a dozen personal trainers.
Yeah.
Working in and around the hours and such like, in terms of during the day, it's spread out a bit, but, you get some guys that work some days and on other days. But most 24/7s that I see don't have anything like that number of PTs in there.
Yeah.
Begs the question, why?
Yeah.
Why are we not getting more PT building businesses within those businesses? Is it that the rents are too high? Is it that we don't have enough personal trainers? I'm sure the demand is there.
Yeah.
The personal trainers that we currently have are unable to get the customer base. Is that where we're going wrong? And I'll give you a bit of an example because you said tips, and I don't have too many tips. I'll give you an example. There's a bloke in the United States by the name of Luke Carlson. You might have heard of him.
Yeah, he's coming to Firelake. I've seen him. Yeah,
Firelake. He's a guy, and I thought, I've heard of him, but never listened to him talk. Here's his unique selling proposition. So all of his trainers, when they train people, they wear a shirt and a tie.
Really?
Actually training people.
Wow.
You're not allowed to train more than twice a week with him in his club. So he tends to go to a more mature age, if you like, customer base. Only 2, maybe 3, but I think it was only twice a week that you can have a PT session in one of his clubs. All of his exercises are evidence-based.
Yeah.
Evidence-based, you won't do it here. None of his people will give you that. Now, that talks to me about someone that has stuck his neck right out to differentiate himself and his product. So I don't know anybody else that's got PTs running around that have got a shirt and tie on when they're training people.
Yeah, never heard of it.
That's his gesture to professionalism. In doing so, makes the distinction. So I've got no doubt when you sit down with him, he'll say to these people, this is your prescription for what's going to go on when you come to see me. What fascinates me with that is the brand awareness. And I think that maybe that's the issue. How much branding do our personal trainers undertake? And how do you make yourself different from the masses?
Yeah.
That's the thing. One thing I learned about brand, probably with the Michelle Bridges days, was the big day for me. I'm just going off now, John. If you need me to,
no, you go. I'm loving hearing these stories.
But one of the things that we did, I could build a fantastic club, and I built some great clubs. I thought they were great clubs, and they were good. But how could I tell the people about it? How could I reach out and say, this is a really good club? The problem was I didn't have a brand. When fitness first raced off back in the 2000s and was opening clubs left, right and centre, the brand was everywhere. Do you remember the backpacks with Fitness First on the backpacks?
I still see them.
Oh, that's the most, and it nailed it. It had the strength of the brand. What happened with Michelle Bridges was with Biggest Loser, suddenly I realised instead of building the product and then trying to put a brand on it, here we can build the brand and attach the product to it.
Yeah.
That was the distinction. And the strength and the power of brand has never left me from there. So Michelle's an incredible operator when it comes to brand.
Yeah.
She's real big sister stuff. People look up to her, they follow her around, as they do with a lot of celebrity trainers. But, that's what she could build a fantastic brand. And that's where the strength of the business was. So in the end, the brand of Michelle Bridges was bigger than Michelle Bridges.
Yeah.
So that's where you need to look toward. How do you build your brand so that people know that name and they go, I've heard of this guy. I've heard something about it. That's the key. And that's where it's tough because, you're in social space. There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of trainers. But building that brand and that brand awareness is a critical piece.
Yeah, love it. I think that's some awesome advice there, Bill. I'm just going to summarize that a little bit for the listeners to make sure they've got and to make sure I'm on track as well. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing we can take out of that is the branding. So it's not so much about, you being the best trainer in the world, because you can be the best trainer in the world, but if no one knows about you, you're not going to have any clients and you're going to be out of the business, right? But if you can find a way to brand yourself and then your product is good on the back of that, that's how you be successful. And I think also in these days, yeah, it's hard, but I think it's also easy in a way too, with all these social media side of things. If you can get yourself out there on social media, get your, like, if you're a listener here and you follow me on social media, you see I do a lot of live videos every day, right? I do a lot of Instagram posting every day, stories every day. It's super easy to get my brand and my personality out there. So that's my advice if you're a trainer listening to this. Get your personal brand out there, right? Get your personality out there and use social media to do it. One thing I just want to quickly touch on, Bill, you spiked my curiosity. I'm not sure if you can say this or not. Can you mention what those top 5 gyms are? They don't have to be in order, but those the top. I'm just curious.
Top 5.
Can you mention that or not?
It's public knowledge. Okay. I don't think that in terms of the number of clubs.
Yep.
And that is number 1 is Anytime Fitness. Number 2 is F45. Then the next 3 we have got Snap, Plus, and let me think.
That's right. 4 out of 5 is good.
The other one is it Jets? It might be.
Must be Jets. Yeah.
Yeah. If I got that, yeah. But certainly, Snap Plus, F45 and Anytime.
Yep.
They're the big hitters out there.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at it like that, how do we fit in that environment? Because I'm really fascinated with the fitness industry and what's happened to gyms. See, the big thing with that is that they're inexpensive, Jono. They're $15 a week, if you like, or thereabouts. Now, I was selling gym memberships for better than $15 a week in 1994.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, that is cheap. Why is it cheap? Why haven't we got the likes of Planet Fitness, where it's $10 a month here in Australia? Reason, our labour laws are such that it's too expensive, and secondly, our real estate is too expensive. So you don't see those 24/7s going crazy like you do here in Australia, in the United States, because the real estate and labour is cheap by comparison.
Yeah.
So there's a gap in the inexpensive market, and it is filled by the 24/7 clubs. So 24/7s now march into that gap, inexpensive, but in doing so, completely change the landscape of what's going on. So where do exercise professionals fit in that landscape? That's the key.
Yeah.
For me, I think you're quite right. I think you made a really good point earlier with regard to brand and, you know, taking advantage of all those media, various media, social media opportunities and delivery systems that you can get out there. But where, in terms of the actual content of what you're actually doing, God damn it, there's never been as many clubs that you can work in.
Yeah.
Right now, there's bloody hundred. But what have we got? We've got 6,500 health clubs here in Australia. There's probably about, in terms of majors, there's probably about 3,000 to 3,500 major health clubs in terms of big independents, chains, and such like. There's never been more. Never been quite a lot of personal trainers, but every single club that I go in, when I say to them, "What can Fitness Australia do for you?" they say, "Bill, find me some more trainers."
Wow.
That is the one thing that they, without a shadow of a doubt and without exception, they say, "What do you need? What can we do?" And they say, "We need more trainers." There just aren't enough trainers out there.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point, you know, because there's a lot of, there's always that constant argument, right? There's always a lot of trainers. Hey, it's so hard to be a personal trainer. It's too competitive. Every second person is a personal trainer. But then you hear stories like that. And then you also see the stats, right? Like, look at the obesity rates in Australia. I almost feel like there should be more, you know, trainers to help with that. But hey, good. I'd like to move on just a little bit from there. We're going this direction anyway, but I think another really good question you'd be in a position to maybe not answer, but give opinions and, you know, what you've heard about the future of the fitness industry. Like, obviously, nobody knows for sure, right? But I'm sure you hear a lot of people come to you and say, "Hey, Bill, it's heading this way," or "Bill, it's heading this way." Would you be able to share some of the things you've heard or some of your thoughts in the direction of the future of the fitness industry?
Sure. Yeah, it's a really good question, actually, John. And you know, really, it's one that, being in the industry, we've got to consistently ask ourselves what the future looks like, not just professionally, but really from the sense almost a social responsibility, because you touched on that before when you said about we actually haven't made that much difference. Our obesity rates are higher than ever, but we've got 16%, around about 16% of Australians use the gym. Our obesity rates haven't, are still going north as well. What's our impact on those? So I think one of the trends we're going to see is the whole wellness trend. The 24/7s have built up, taken over a massive amount of market share. We've yet to see the response, Jono, of the big box clubs. And I think the big box clubs are going to come back with boutique offerings significantly within the big box. They're going to come back with 24/7 on a full service club. We've already seen that with Fitness First. I think we're going to see full service 24/7, i.e. go at 2 o'clock in the morning to see your trainer. I think we'll start seeing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The other point with this is virtual.
Yeah.
So virtual, we're going to just see that wash right the way through our industry. And of course, it fits perfectly in the big box clubs that have got a studio ready to rock and roll. We've already seen in Sydney one dedicated virtual studio. All they have is virtual.
Oh, really? I didn't even know.
And that's Club W in Caringbah. So only virtual in there. There's no real life classes. We'll see more of that. That technology, comparatively in tech space, is not particularly new. But what will be new will be holograms. So instead of putting it on a wall, there'd be a hologram in the middle of the room and you can walk around and do your class.
Yeah.
Holograms are being filmed now.
Yeah.
Now, not even the future. So we'll see virtual take a huge chunk of what's going on out there in the fitness industry. What it does do is, when we talk about the future of the industry, what about the future of work? That's a bit I'm really interested in. Why is it that that I was paying really, really top flight instructors for a packed Saturday morning class back in 1996, I was paying them $60. Now, what do they get? $60. What are we doing to our instructors? How are we going to keep them in the industry when in actual fact, they don't get that much more money than what they were all those years ago? So I think there's when you talk about the future of work is a really interesting piece for us, because the things that we do can't be replaced. So that one-on-one space can't be replaced. Having said that, we will see technology move in. And I know I just came back from Ursa. There's machines there. You just stand, you can do a squat in front of a machine and you get a complete analysis of the form of your squat. So if you like, the technology side of personal training, we'll see that. That's going to be a trend. But what it will be a trend in will be wellness. It won't particularly, I think, be a trend in personal training for us. I think they're the big hitters. I think that whole wellness virtual space is what we're going to see a lot of. We'll continue to see technology develop and evolve and get more accessible. But really, apart from wearables, we are slow adopters of tech in our industry.
Oh, yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
The whole MyZone F45 notion of competitive measuring, Orange Theory, where that stuff has been around for a bit of time now and it's still relevant. Yeah. But, we're not early adopters of high-end tech by any stretch.
No. And I think it's, I think you've raised some really good points there. I agree 100%, the wellness and especially the technological side of things. And I think I'm really excited about that. I know I get the impression some trainers are scared of it, like, oh no, technology, it might take away my job, this and that. But I think the complete opposite. I think with all the technology out there, you can make your job better as a trainer and almost easier. Like you mentioned the MyZone side of things. How cool is that to use with your clients, right? A lot of the wearable technology is cool. Hey, it's no longer just one session a week with me. It's one session a week with me, but I can also see how much steps you're doing every day. But I can add you as a friend on MyFitnessPal and see what calories you're eating every day, right? And if we can get to some of those virtual classes, that excites me because I actually live down the road from Caringbah. So I'm going to check out that virtual gym there. But I visit the States as well, and that's a common theme over there where, you know, what might happen in the future, it's probably already happening here, is if you're a good instructor and you can run a mean class, but you can get that on video, or if you can make it virtual, all of a sudden you're not just getting that $60 for that 1 hour when you're working. You may be able to give that to multiple different clubs where you run it at the same time or whatever it may be. So that sort of stuff just really excites me. So super glad you brought that up.
Yeah, it's a good point, because just on that, the other piece we will probably see based on that is instructor-driven classes. So we sort of homogenized the instructors with pre-choreography. It was a McDonald's a little bit, if you like. Sure, you had to get, you had to get great delivery, you had to have great presence, all those things that you needed to have. And Les Mills did a fantastic job of educating his instructors to be great instructors, but of course they were working within the format. The creativity wasn't there. What we're seeing now is an awful lot of circuits getting taught in reality. There's F45, there's a whole bunch of things, basically circuits. So what's going to be the distinction that makes your circuit better than that somebody else is? And it will be instructor driven. So I'm seeing now big health clubs bringing in old school professional aerobic instructors to say, well, how can we create the edge? So that the boutiques at the moment that have sucked all the, if you like, the better instructors out at some level have got, some maybe got off and done their own thing in a boutique or whatever. How do we get that skill set? How do we get that elevated level of delivery in our club? And I'm seeing, as I say, some of the bigger clubs bring in some of the old school instructors and trainers to try and do that.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, Bill, from there, I'd like to move on a little bit about Fitness Australia and some of the things coming on there. I know we've got Filex coming up in, it's got to be about a month, not even, a couple of weeks coming up, right?
2 weeks, yeah, 2 weeks. It's just come around really, really quickly. So, it's been so exciting for us. We'd be one of the few peak bodies that doesn't own its own education event, and we're all about education. At the end of the day, it's about getting a better quality instructor out there and educating them accordingly. So we're all about that. So Filex is just massive. It just dominates our thinking at the moment. It's a fabulous opportunity to get out. I love Filex anyway, because you just meet all these people. There's all people from way back, make new friends. You never come away from Filex without making some new friends. I love it. So, that's the big thing for us at the moment. But we've also got a PT app, Work It, which is a great app. We've been working on that for some time. We're probably a bit slow to bring that to market. There are lots of apps out there. But having said that, we've been able to look at other apps and see some of the shortcomings. And this is a great app. It's free if you register with Fitness Australia. You can just download it straight away. We take a 5.25% commission on each transaction. So you actually don't pay anything until you've been paid. So it's about $3 for the average, PT session. But it's a great app. It's a great business tool. And really for Fitness Australia, we're very much focused on business, on getting exercise professionals to be able to resource them with better business assets that allow them to grow businesses, be better instructors, better trainers, reach more people, make more money. It's important. This is what the industry needs. The average personal trainer in Australia, only 7% of exercise professionals work more than 36 hours a week. 7%. So 7% actually make a full-time career out of what it is that they do. 1 in 5 PTs work less than 5 hours a week.
Wow.
That's not a career path. That's what we've got to change, and that's why we just want to elevate the standard of everything that's going on out there and provide the resources and tools to help exercise professionals to do it.
Love it. What was the name of that app, Bill, just in case some of our listeners missed it and they want to quickly download it now? What's the name of it?
It's called Work It. It's WORKET.
Okay, and can they go just via the App Store and get it?
Yep. Just jump on the App Store. It's there ready to rock and roll. And it's free if you're a Fitness Australia member, registrant rather, then, hey, it's yours. Just download it.
Awesome. Cool. And then Filex, Bill, is there a bit of a story about how that came about? Because I believe Fitness Australia didn't used to run it, but now they run it. Is that right?
Yeah, sort of. There is a bit of a story, actually. I've known Nigel Champion for years. We both sat on the board of Fitness New South Wales, so we sort of became mates then. And when I came into this role, I was talking to him about finance. I said, "Gee, how the bloody hell is it that we don't own this? You know, like normally a peak national body would own their own education convention, for Christ's sake." And of course, as it turned up, an opportunity turned up to buy it, but there was another buyer that was interested in it, and we had to scramble because we didn't have the money to buy it. So I ran around a whole bunch of financial institutions and to try and borrow some money for Fitness Australia. They all told me to get lost.
I've been there. I've had that experience.
Yeah. So I was like, "Gee, what are we going to do here?" So eventually, Fitness Australia could effectively have the funds to buy, I guess, 20% of it. We just needed to fund the other 40% of it. So 4 of us got together to fund the other 40%. We effectively funded it ourselves because we believe in it. And we thought, here's an opportunity for Fitness Australia to ultimately own its own education convention, which is what it should do.
Yeah.
So 4 of us, myself, David, Alan, Justin McDonnell, and Andrew Simmons from Vision, all clubbed together, stumped up some money to get it and to acquire it from Greg and Nigel. So yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a story. It took a bit of doing. At the end of it, we thought, "God, we're never going to get this deal over the line. Oh, we're going to lose it." But otherwise, what would have happened? It would have gone to an overseas company, and it should be owned here in Australia. It should be an Australian product for Australian exercise professionals. You and I both know we've got some of the best exercise professionals and the best group instructors in the world, and we always have had. And it's important that the education component of our contribution to that should stay here in Australia.
Agree 100%. But hey, Bill, I believe that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much for your time there. Just before I leave you to it, I just wanted to double check. Is there anything that I left out? Is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't, or anything you want to finish up with?
No, not really, mate. I've got to say, we touched on a lot of stuff, but I think that you and I, we could probably just keep talking about it for days on end, But we did touch on a lot of stuff. But in a way, whenever I get it, it's always great to thank people that support Fitness Australia. A lot of what we do is pretty thankless, and it's pretty under the radar stuff, Like no one wants to think about talking to bloody government people or bloody endless standards and guidelines and Christ knows what. Like at the end of the day, a lot of it is stuff that doesn't get seen, but we get supported by people that are real believers in the industry that aren't satisfied for the industry just to be okay. They want it to be a great industry because we're all passionate about it. A lot of great people devote a lot of time and energy to supporting us, and they support us financially by registering with us or being business members of ours. And I just want to say a massive thank you to those guys. It's what makes our industry great. We've got a strong peak national body, and that's the way forward for us. That's the way forward for an industry. And to your point, to getting more Australians exercising and using the services that we provide, and empowering people to do that is our core mission.
Awesome. Well, hey, Bill, if anyone wants more information about yourself or about Fitness Australia, where's the best place for them to go? I'll put some links in the description, obviously, but off the top of your head, where's the best place for people to follow you or Fitness Australia?
Well, on probably our Facebook page is probably our best bet, I think. Yeah, if you jump on the Fitness Facebook page, we've also, for sole trader businesses, we've got a dedicated page for sole trader businesses. That is, like personal trainers out there doing the hard yards at 5 o'clock on a Friday morning in Bondi Beach or whatever. So there's a lot of interaction on there. So yeah, they're probably the best places. And indeed, if anyone ever wants to talk to me, as much as I can, I can engage on Facebook with it as a conversation. If there's a thread going there, the media guys let me know, and if I've got time, I jump on and respond to people. Can't always do that.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I'll do it a bit.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, Bill, thanks very much for your time.
John, I thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate it and wish you all the best.